Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Planet Becky. I am a pretty new YouTuber, so do please forgive me if anything looks weird or if some of my videos kind of change style or anything like that. I am trying to work out what my style is. So, welcome back to a Geluk Zoo. So, on the last episode of Geluk Zoo, we did our entrance way, which in the future we will be improving as I learn how to build better and learn how to build better buildings, everything like that. But we built a car park in which people will enter into the zoo. They'll pass through the entrance way and then they will come to their very first enclosure. Now, Geluk Zoo is an African grassland zoo, so we will only find animals that are from Africa and in the grassland biome. Now, I've done this for a reason because I would really like to have zoos, sandbox zoos, that are really detailed for every biome and every continent that would be consistent, but I want each of those zoos to be really detailed, and splitting them out into their continent and biome. Sometimes the animals will cross over, but it's going to give me that chance to really focus on my design aspects and improving how my zoos look. Now, in the future, when I've done 10 or 15 of these sandbox zoos, that is the plan, by the way, I'm imagining I will probably go back and redo this zoo. But until then, here we are. You guys are going to be here with me, learning how to build, how to lay things out. Now, when I was learning how to do this, I got recommended to buy myself a little notebook, a drawing book, and really just lay out this zoo, lay out the enclosure, draw the enclosure, how I want it to look, where I want things, so that when I'm building it, I don't have to really think. I can just build using my plan. And actually, it was the best advice I think I've been given, because it really helped me. Really helped me lay out this zoo really easily and lay out this enclosure really easily, because I could just do it without having to think. Now, the real purpose of this zoo is so that I can learn how to use all of the different tools really well. Now, I'm quite an avid gamer now, but until about a year ago, I probably wasn't so much. I was at university, so I didn't have a computer that was good enough for me to play games. So now that I'm home and I'm working, I'm able to dedicate some time into learning games like this. And I'm really finding it such a creative outlet for me. And I am really enjoying it. And I'm loving the community that I have found in this game. Such an amazing community. Now, the challenges that I expect to face when building this zoo is mainly going to be challenges of design, because I have all of these amazing ideas in my head, but my thought is that I'm going to have a bit of a challenge in knowing how to make that idea in my head a reality in the game. And I fear that I'm going to try and be too complicated with some of my builds. So I think I just need to think about simplicity and doing it simple. I would also really love to have this zoo as more of a natural zoo. So no barriers everywhere, no bricks everywhere. I want it to be a sort of zoo that looks really natural. And that's going to be really difficult for me because it's something that I've not really done before. So I'm spending a lot of time learning how to do that, because if anyone watches my streams, you will know that I often just tend to place, especially in my franchise zoos, I will often tend to just place a square brick enclosure, making sure that it's big enough for the animals' needs. I don't really tend to sway off of this square brick I really love the wooden logs barriers as well. So I'm really trying to sway away from doing that. Now, a lot of that is the fact that I just don't necessarily know how to use things like the terrain tool very well, because in a lot of the games I played as a child, for example Sims, I didn't really need to use a terrain tool. So it's something that I'm really having to look at and learn. The other thing that I'm really having to look at and learn is using some of the in-game features. For example, those water jets to create that idea of a waterfall. That for me was really, really difficult. And trying to get it to look as natural as possible was also really difficult. Now, something that I wanted to make sure I had in this zoo and in all of the future enclosures is somewhere where the animals can sleep. Now, that may be somewhere where the public can see them sleeping, or it may just not be. But when I'm walking around zoos in the UK especially, most of the animals will have somewhere indoors where they can go and sleep. And that is mainly because in the UK, because of weather issues or anything like that. But I think it is really important that we provide some sort of a shelter for all of these animals. Now, with this episode, I decided to cut out a lot of the footage because I really struggled with the fact of using a null barrier, because I had never really done that before. Using the paths, using the terrain, because I won't lie to you, I found it really difficult, and I was having to look at tutorials. My community on Twitch was having to help me out a lot, and it was just something I had never really experienced before. But I'm trying my hardest to improve my gameplay, how my zoos look, everything like that, so that I can create a really detailed zoo. Now, another one of the issues that I really find in this game is the path system. No matter how many tutorials I watch, I still struggle with it, and I think a lot of people do, and I think that that's okay, because there's always going to be one aspect of a game that you're always going to struggle with no matter what. Another issue that I have found so far when playing is the null barriers. I really struggled with those null barriers, like really struggled. And I think it was mainly because I just never used them before, so I didn't understand the concept of them. Like, I didn't understand that it was going to block terrain from moving, and that was really hard. So the main reason why I'm going to be focusing on creating this series is for one reason and one reason only, is I want to get better at building in this game. I love the gameplay side of it. I wouldn't say I'm amazing at the game management side, but I'd say I have a pretty good understanding and a pretty good grasp of the game management side. I'm very good at that sort of thing, managing the money and everything like that. So I have been told by my mum, by some of my followers, that I don't put enough time into building beautiful enclosures. And that is something that I really want to focus on, to improve both my gameplay, because I look at other people's videos on YouTube or on Twitch, and I look at their zoos and I'm like, wow, that looks incredible. But I just didn't know how to do it. So I started really watching, for example, Paulsley's videos and the Lady Signers videos, in how they are designing these zoos, how they are using the different tools to design their zoos. And one thing that I really noticed was, for example, Paulsley, he plans his zoos like there is no tomorrow. He plans every single detail, he plans it. And I think that is what's really important, that I need to learn how to plan, rather than just sticking a box down and going, yep, that will do. Because that's not the sort of builder that I want to be. That is not the sort of game player I want to be. And the only way that I could think of improving my content was by doing this. So that is the reason for that. Now, with the plants, I wanted to make sure that the animals are happy with the amounts of plants, but I wasn't so worried about if there were too many plants in there, because an animal can't always control how many plants are growing in a certain area. So throughout this zoo, I will that is the one thing about the animals that I will kind of ignore is how many plants is, you know, too many, because in the wild they're not going to be able to go, oh, I don't like that plant, and just cut it out. They would just move past it. So that's kind of the reason why I've done that. Plus, I think sometimes with the limitations of the plants for certain animals, it can leave your enclosures actually looking really quite bare. And there's only so many rocks that you can use within an area. Sometimes you do need to use plants and flowers just to break up the different areas. Now, I love these water kind of plants here with the water lilies and everything like that. I think they just look so beautiful. And they just make it look really natural as well. And the fact that you're able to kind of layer those, it just looks really, really good. Now, on the inside of the building, I also included their water and their food to try and encourage them to go into that area as well as out into the normal area as well. And that is the reason why I've done that, because the keepers will be able to access this area. So I wanted to encourage them to go into there, which can also just mean using for some animals like the scent markers and everything like that. They're really, really useful. If you want an animal to come towards an area which you see as a viewing point, if you put down those scent markers, that animal's going to be able to go there more and more. Now, I put in more than one feeding thing because often with flamingos, they will breed really, really quickly. I've learned that when I'm doing my franchise zoos, but also they tend to come in bigger groups, so you need more than one feeding point. Now, I didn't want to just make my enclosure look really beautiful. I wanted to make sure that the viewers and the customers that were walking into this zoo have a really good experience as well. So I have used the African fence to create a fence throughout the whole of the enclosure. And I wanted like a really special entranceway. Now, I hadn't really ever built an entranceway before. So here you can kind of see me struggling a little bit with how to build it, how tall I need to build it, everything like that. And I wanted to write across it Flamingo Falls, but I really, really wasn't sure how to do that. So if anyone has any tips or suggestions on how I can improve this in the future, please, please, please do let me know in the comments below. And if you guys have any other suggestions on how I could improve things, how anything to do with this game I could improve, please, please, please let me know. Now I'm going to leave you here for just a little bit just to watch the rest here, so I don't keep chatting away and away and away to you. But please do make sure that you like and subscribe. Please comment down below on what animals you think I should do next. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.